What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today we're going to talk to you about NIO, give you a quick overview of some of the data points, what's moving it today, and what shorts are up to. Before I get into any of that, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. Starting off, NIO is down slightly, 0.22%. A lot of volume though, so 74.07 million shares being traded, 82.5 is the average. I think institutions have kind of taken a step back as of right now, just letting the market do what it wants, because there was a lot of buying right here, kind of buying the dip, if that makes sense. This right here is a very good example of algorithmic trading. Every video I do cover NIO, and I kind of bring up where the volume is coming from, and majority of the time it's coming from algorithmic trading. So this is a very good example in case you are ever curious. What I mean by that, it's just algos kind of trading back and forth. That is it. So this is why you do see the volume really run up fairly fast, but you don't really see a lot of transactions coming from the secondary market. So these are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. You have some good buying. Like I said, it's more oriented around here. So a lot of institutions were buying the dip, but aside from that, it's just shorts. So shorts were very, very active, and then they flipped. So they kind of noticed and picked up on entities kind of buying. So they took advantage, and then they kind of returned during this time frame right here. So yeah, shorts are really manipulating NIO, so I'll talk on them in a second. But as far as today, no actual news, no SEC filings, nothing along those lines. In the States, they did have some pretty good data points coming out. So non-farm payroll as well as unemployment, both better than anticipated, showing that the economy is very, very strong. It did kind of kill the likelihood of a 50 basis point cut for the November 7th meeting, but the market didn't really seem to care. So I think there is just more of a rotation out of Chinese stocks into, again, American stocks, just maybe in the short term potentially. Still, like I've mentioned in the past, NIO has ran up quite a lot, even despite the pullback over the last couple of days. 1 month it is up 58.04%. So you do have a fair share of profit taking. And based on where it's sitting at right now, it is sitting on a very key kind of pivot point based on the technicals. So we'll go over that in a second. But as far as shorts, at the time of doing this video, they are returning 4.26 million shares. So like I said, they are taking advantage of, I guess, that rotation that is happening. So it's kind of unfortunate, the fact that shorts, again, are able to really manipulate it and everything else. And like I kind of alluded to in my video yesterday, maybe they might be the culprits as well behind the scenes to make FUD articles, because in my opinion, a lot of those kind of FUD articles and analysis on Chinese stocks as a whole, that's what really killed the vibe, if that kind of makes sense. But all in all, 12.36% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 165.09 million shares. Cost to borrow average 3.74. On a side note, that is an annual rate. I had some questions as far as that on my couple of videos ago. So it's not 3.74% every single day. That's like 0.1 or 0.2 or something like that per day or something like that. But short score 74.99. So the higher the number, the higher the likelihood of a squeeze happening. As far as options, kind of low dollar value, so 8.26 million for calls, 6.11 million for puts. 42% of all the options being done today are optimistic and bullish, but you see some pretty big candles right here. So I'm going to kind of go over one of them at least. So in this candle between 920 and 925, there was 1.5 million in premiums. So let's kind of take a look at this. And sometimes I dive too deep into all this, but you have a lot of bullish options that is being done through puts. So yeah, essentially that's kind of a good thing if someone is selling puts, especially right here. It looks like the consensus is around 650 puts. That's generally good, because if it does dip below that, then essentially they're saying and committing that they will buy it at 650. So whatever entity did this, they're kind of calling the bottom, if that kind of makes sense. So once again, this is why it's good to really analyze this information. And at the time of doing this video, it looks like the price was at 644. So once again, fairly optimistic. They did anticipate more of a rebound off of this right here. again, it could be manipulation as well. Market makers doing that, but it is what it is. As far as this, so of the call options that were being purchased, you see a consensus for it to be above $8 by the next couple of weeks. So October 11th and October the 18th. So once again, you have this kind of resurgence of optimism for that. And then looking at puts, you see a consensus for it to be kind of around that 6 to 650. So still, like I've said, even though it's consolidated a little bit, there is still more upside anticipated. But no matter what, options is just merely a sentiment. It does not move the stock price. So kind of just be aware of that. So again, if you compare, for instance, what is happening today to the last several trading days, for instance, right here, like the ratio of buying to selling coming from large entities today seems to be good. So this majority is selling, this kind of 50-50 for the most part. Majority of the transactions, like I said, today are buys. So once again, something to just keep in mind. Right now with it at $6.69, it is exactly on this R1. So slightly now above that, but still just watch for it to close above 669 in the next couple trading days. Flip side, because if it does close below that, then this will be more of a technical breakdown. So 608 would be the following support. And at this stage, 707 is going to be the next strong resistance / target. So definitely, like I said, just watch for it to close above this R2, but on the actual chart itself, still fairly good. Like I said, it could really continue to dip to roughly around the high fives and still be fairly good on the technicals. I know that's not what a lot of people want to hear, but as long as you do still continue to have higher highs and higher lows, things are kind of good still. So once again, just kind of keep that into consideration, but as well on a positive note, to kind of think of this as a glass half full kind of scenario. While it does consolidate, it is kind of resetting the stochastic because it was very overbought for a while. Nothing really wrong with that at times, but the first sign of weakness, you usually do have a quick pullback. So that's kind of what is happening right now, just more of a, nothing negative, but just more of a rotation. And so again, kind of a positive thing. So that's going to reset the technicals from its overbought status. Number of retail investors are getting in today, and you can tell that based on the momentum indicator. So this is a quick summary of exactly what is happening. It's very apparent that there is a lot of subtle hints of manipulation, but I think that's kind of normal for NIO at this stage in the game. So what's your thoughts on shorts returning 4.17 million shares right now? And just generally, where do you guys see things going in the short term? Do you think there's going to be more consolidation, or do you think it is going to finally push higher into and maybe retest around that high sevens? What's your guys' thoughts? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. Make sure you guys definitely take advantage of this promo as well. It does give you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. Kick-ass deal. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that, appreciate all of you guys watching.